3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and stop. To the side, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and stop. Okay, hands up, reach down, 1, 2, 3, to your right, to your left, center, inhale, exhale, hands up, reach down, 1, 2, 3, to your right, to your left, center, inhale, exhale, hands up, reach down, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, center, inhale, exhale. Okay, hands in your waist, circular movements, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Reverse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2. Center, cross, knees, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2. Reverse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2. Center, hands on your waist, neck turning, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2. Back and forth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2. Center, tilt to the side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2. Center, rotating. 1, 2, 3. Reverse. 1, 2, 3. center, hands up. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Okay, we'll spread our feet. Turn the shoulders. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, and stop. Okay, do a little stretching. Do the best you can. Switch. 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 Okay. Switch again. Just stretch out right up in here. Okay, ready? We'll switch again. Straighten the front knee. Just stretch out the back of the leg a little. Switch. 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 Center. Okay, we'll shake it out. Deep breathing. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, hands in your waist, shoulder roll. And reverse. And center. Okay, press, release, exhale, inhale. stop. Hands up, deep breathing. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Okay, wrists, elbows and knees. Circular movements with the circles in the front plane. Reverse. And center. Okay, palms down. Bigger circle. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and stop. Okay, shake it out. Then we're going to do the leg swing next. We're going to, I'll face this way so we can get the legs working. So we start off like this, and then we just kick that foot in, let it swing. And center. Okay, switch other side. Start off like this, and go. And center. Okay, now we're going to go side to side, opposite. Okay, switch. And center. Okay, shake it out. Hands up. Pull in. Inhale. Breathe through your nose. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, silk rilling. We start off like this. We step out. Next, switch, other side. Okay, palms down. Okay, crossed arms. So we'll move one of the feet forward. Okay, and when like this, put the right hand to the outside then, and open and close. So there's a bit of up and down, spreading the hands. That's the opening part and the closing. The opening and the closing. Open and close. Okay, now we're going to switch to the other side. Open and close. And center. Okay, now feet parallel. Say preparation. Okay, next, lower hoop. So this is standing meditation, clearing your thoughts, holding a position, lower hoop position. Shoulder height. Elbows down. Lower the hands, palms down. Extend. Okay, deep breathing. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, part the horse's mane. Switch. Okay, center. Cloud hands. Okay, palms down. Carry tiger to the mountain. Infinity sign. form the fist. Okay, strum the lute. And thumbs up. Alternate the shoulders. Switch. And center. Extend, turn, draw the bow. Okay, let's get to center. Spread the feet. So we're in a horse stance. Fan through the back. So we have the right hand on top, going to the right, and the left hand on top, going to the left. Okay, center. Okay, palms down, deep breathing. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Okay, shake it out. So those are the warm-ups, because this is a live video that's sent out to an audience. Typically, a live class with the streaming is directed to the viewers that are outside. So if you're watching a live class typically, and we film it during our live in-house class, the attention is given toward the students that are present in class. Today's still live streaming. Nan's joining us, but I still address this to the audience that's watching. So, those typically are the warm-ups. That's a typical class. A lot of the videos that are archived goes over more of the details of what those exercises are. But, I've been just live streaming the exercises without a lot of explanation because that starts to take away from the time. So if you're new and you just started tuning in, you might rewatch or revisit some of those other videos that are archived because you might get information on those videos that could support any of these exercises that we're doing. These exercises are designed to support the form, although the appreciation for these exercises might not be experienced till you've gotten more proficient with the form and your understanding has evolved to a level where you can sort of identify the movements with the postures linking together using some of the concepts that we're building from these fundamentals. So anyone that has developed a certain amount of skill in any type of discipline or exercise, sport, whichever it is, you realize that the effort put in pays off in the long run. So this is something that a lot of people, when they first pick up Tai Chi, don't realize because it is a process and you evolve. Anything that involves movement, a motor skill, sequential type things, it does take time, practice, and taking that short-term memory into a long-term memory, and that's really the goal, because long-term memory is where you house it, sort of like riding a bike or any of the thing you've done that takes motor skill, coordination, and balance, and you'll find that once you've learned it, your body kind of retains it. How good you are with it really is the frequency. So you really have to do something like this more often than not, because we're creatures of habit. The more you do it, the better you get. It's just like any other discipline, whether it's music, an instrument. You really can't identify with the ideas and the principles until you've experienced it, because through that practice you start to develop discovery, and the discovery is the little things that you didn't know really happen when you do certain movements. Those are the subtleties. Nan's been doing this for a number of years. How's it, 21 years? Yep, she's just about drinking age now, so she's been doing this a while, so she's evolved, and when we have classes, she always says that she picks up something new every once in a while, right? Or all the time. So it's just the course of learning. So there are so many subtleties, and people that are at the academy that have been here instructing a long time, they constantly will discover new things from just the same movements, the same exercises, but you start to discover something that you weren't doing. So that's what's pretty amazing. So what we're going to do is the linear form. This is all done facing the mirror. So this will help you identify the postures, get your footwork working, and also build a bit of coordination. So this is a 90-degree position. When we square the feet, that gives you your shoulder width. All right. So what is that? That's measuring your position. So when we say shoulder width, obviously that means as wide as your shoulder, approximately. Some people have wider shoulders, but it's kind of a proportional thing, because the size of your feet going into this position creates a shoulder width stance. If your feet, say, were enormous and you pivot and they were like this, your pivot point would be bigger and you would be out here. So that's why you can see that your foot proportions, your shoulder width and your height kind of go together as a proportion. Generally, the size of your feet is going to measure out to the shoulder width stance. Now that's shoulder width, parallel, and square. You could call it the square stance. And you'll notice I use the geometry of position. This is actually 45 degrees. This is 45 degrees. So when does it happen? Bend the knees, shift over 45 degrees. Bring your left foot forward and find the vertical. Go to horizontal. So vertical and horizontal are two terms I use a lot. And you push forward as the forward position, and this is your stance, right? Forward and back. That's your empty stance, the archery stance. We toe out, step up to the right stance, flip the elbows. We did this in the drills. We find center line, thumbs up, and we press. Okay, that's vertical and horizontal. So that leads us into grasp the sparrow's tail, which is these four movements. So there's only two, you would say, but actually it started here, vertical to horizontal, back, and forward. Hook your wrist. Now, a lot of the body mechanics and the shifting and so forth is something that's pretty new for a new person, so you may not pay attention to that side of it. You would pay attention more to the hand being like this, and then like this. Then you separate the hands. You create this line that goes toward the hip of the supporting leg at your left side. You turn the inside hand up, you bring it across to the right side, and you sort of push off the right shoulder. And you hook your wrist. Now if I turn the front foot out 45 degrees, and I step up to the 45, I can go directly parallel to the mirror to create the single whip position. Okay? So both feet are 45 degrees, both hands are 45 degrees pointing. Drop your elbows, turn your palm over to that corner, turn the palm to that corner, and hook your wrist. So that's single whip. The palm goes in, and you level. This is called hold the ball. We shift, straighten this foot, bring the hands from hold the ball to a parallel position, and slant up like this. This is diagonal flying. Now we have to shift over to here. And then step up to vertical to horizontal. Now as we bring our weight over the supporting leg, we pass through center and find the shoulder width stance that was established a little while ago to this. This is called raise the hand, bend from the waist, stork flaps wings, and relax. Okay, so that's the first section of the form. So what do we have? We have beginning style left and right side. Here's a beginning style left. This is beginning style right. We transitioned across to the right side, which is this, and we did right side grasp the sparrow's tail, which was this four movements. So the four movements are 1, 2, 3, and 4. So grasp the sparrow's tail is 4 different motions. Now we go to the corner. Now, if we link it together in the form, it actually connects completely. But we go to the posture setup for single whip, which starts here. We open the stance. Now we have single whip. Okay, so that's this posture. Then we go into a transition. That's called hold the ball. So holding the ball is this. This is reversing the ball. Okay, so depending on which hand's on top and which on the bottom determines what the hands would do. So the lower hand goes up, the upper hand goes down, you have diagonal flying. So that completes that posture. When we just drop the hands, just start from scratch. We go right to the beginning of this position, right leg forward, and we go to neutral. And we press forward. Step up, let's drop the hands down to waist level, lift it up to eye level, sort of along this side of the body. This is on this side of the body, and we bend. Then when we turn, we pick this hand up and we go to this position. Okay, so that's stork flaps wings. Now if we step up again, go to the left stance, and we find neutral position left side, we could begin the next series of movements, which is brush, knee, and twist. Brush, knee, and twist step. So there's a brush knee movement. Okay, so let's identify the brush knee movement. It starts in the vertical position. It goes to the horizontal elbow on the right side. So you see how that looks? Well, when you bring the hands together, that's that position. But it's confusing in the beginning because you don't know where the hand goes. So you just set it up like this and you merge the hands, and the left hand's on the inside, the right hand is on the outside. That's press. If I turn to my right and drop the elbow and then sit into the stance, I separate the hands, I turn toward the front, and I push. That's brush, knee, and push. So where's the brush knee? This lower hand on the inside brushes toward the knee, and the push is on the right side. Okay, so that's the right side brush, knee, push. Okay, so there's 4 of these in sequence, but essentially we only have one right side and one left side. So this is the right side again. If we merge the hands, you're on your center line and you turn. Flip your elbows, and that's complete. Now we're back to the left side. So the left side correlate to the toe up and the fingertip up. The right side correlates to the fingertips up. Now I'll do the opposite side. This is the left side, the mirror image. So that just sets up your hands to see that this is what it looks like when we do this. So we're in a vertical position, and we know that this is what has to happen. There's different ways you can do that. So if I'm here, I can actually just take my hand and come up to this position and set it up like that. Okay. So this is just so you can identify with where the hands are and which direction it goes. So this is brush, knee, and push. Okay, let's shake that out. So you did your left and right knee, right side, brush, knee, and push. Now, if you haven't noticed by now, this is the first exercise, right? So when the elbows are out, you have a right side and you have a left side. But, you know, when you start to think right and left and right, forward and back while you're going through these motions, you might get confused because I say right side and you're thinking about it and you get confused because you're looking in the mirror, you're following from behind, so you don't know what exactly, you know, you can't register that quickly enough. So just look at the hand, the elbow, and that's the direction you turn. You look at the hand and you look at the elbow. So use your elbow as a guideline to the direction you turn. Same applies here. I turn in this direction and I turn in this direction. Okay. So instead of using the fingertip as the guideline, you use your elbow. Okay. So that tells you that you're going to go in that direction. This tells you you're going in that direction. So you don't need to know right or left. That helps it, you know, up here. It'll be a little easier. So now once we've finished the brush knee, we're going to go back into the left side vertical. Remember, fingertip up, toe up. Okay, so it's the left side, but without even wondering if right or left, you look at the body form because that's a position. Now, if I'm here, let's go to the corner. So all I did was turn my shoulders and I turn my palm up. I turn back to center. I shift my weight forward and I step through to shoulder width. I turn my palms out and push and then sink or bend the knees. when you bend the knees, the hands come back. Okay. So the visuals in the mirror, the perception is a little bit different because it's flat. You really don't see the front forward direction dimensionally, because you only can, if I didn't move my elbows, you can't tell if my palms are going forward or back. But because my elbows are going forward and back, you could see that the hands are doing that. Now from a side view, it's much more obvious. You see that? So that's what happens when you're doing closing the door. When you're in this position, and I turn 45 degrees, you would see that the body is just rotating as if you're pivoting from your waist. But when we get to this side, we turn the hand like this. See, between this and this, you turn back. Okay, so when the palm is facing that way, you turn that direction. When the palm is facing up, you go toward the thumb. Then you lean forward, you go toward the fingertips, and you step up, shoulder width stance. The other hand is here, and you close the door and relax the knees. So that's a lot of stuff happening simultaneously, because what happens is when you're here, it becomes 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. But you can't pick that up just watching the first time, because all of these are segments of the body maneuvering to get to these positions. So that's a sequence. Every posture is a mini sequence, and every posture can be practiced and refined and developed. But you can't really refine a movement if you don't understand what you're trying to do. So in the beginning, you learn the gross movement, and you get it as close as you can when you watch the movement. And then after your body has kind of learned it in, the short-term memory, and then leads into the long-term memory, you understand that that's strum the lute and close the door. So once you have that, then you add that on to the base of postures that you have, and then you start to string them together to create the form, memorizing the form, performing it and executing it, over the period of weeks or months that you've practiced. Then it starts to sink in. After you've learned that, you continue on learning the rest of the form. Then you go back and refine it, while you're evolving through all of these positions. So that's really the strategy. You have to go through this process. There's no real shortcut in learning. What allows the body to pick it up faster is frequency of doing it. So if you don't do it often enough, it's going to take a long, long time. So if you did this once a week, you could figure it's going to take you 6 months or more to memorize it, because the recall is so slow that you wouldn't be able to adapt to it. So you have to actually do it more often than you would think. So frequency is important. Seeing is important. Hearing it is called the audio transmission of information. So the information that's housed here isn't really understood. It's just housed. So that's kind of something that we don't really realize, because this learning process is somewhat new to someone that hasn't done sequential type things. And then when you get to something like Tai Chi that has concepts and principles, you have to adapt those ideas, which are really methods of doing things, to how you learn. So we're at this point, we finish strum the lute, and we step up to close the door. Now we form the fist, which we've done here, and we step up 45 degrees in there. So look at that footwork. It's the same footwork that we did when we started the form. That's the same move. So as you build these bits and pieces of movement into your system, which is your body, that becomes second nature. You form the fist and you punch. And you're back. You're still in neutral. This is a fist. 1, 2, that's an infinity sign. And then you punch. Bring this hand to the outside and you cross your forearms. You sit back to an empty stance and you go vertical. Turn your palms out and you push. Then you go back to neutral. So that's a series of movements. There's 3 postures there. We did the strum the lute. We finished that with close the door. Now we reset, start from the beginning of a starting position. We're in a neutral position. We form the fist and we punch. We sit back, divert, block, and punch. That's complete. That's 1 additional posture. Because we finished here, we sit back. We don't go to neutral this time. We go to a cross hand position. And we go to vertical position. And then we turn the palms out and we go to the push. And then we reset, we will go back to neutral. So you see we're neutral, strum the lute, elbow down. Is so important as a fundamental because that gives you a good start point. Now between this position, cross hand position, and hold the ball, those are start positions. Part the horse's mane, diagonal flying, start with part the horse's mane. Vertical position, brush knee, strum the lute, starting position, beginning styles, grasp the sparrow's tail, all of those are here. And there's many more that also start here. So you understand basically where certain postures begin and then they end, which is the end of the final position. Say diagonal flying, that's your end position. Then it stops. The linkage between that posture and the next posture is the transition that evolves over time because of the integration of body, the relationship between the right and left, the relationship between the right and left, the relationship between the hands and the legs. All of this becomes, very important if you're building coordination. So, there's a bit of method to the madness that you have to go through this process because, as adults that's learning this, we have a lot of habits we've built over time from not actually moving like this. So those habits are from sitting, standing in the same position, driving. All of these are positions that you're not very mobile. So without mobility, how are you expected to build coordination? Because coordination, motor skill, it's learned. Coordination is adapting all these mechanisms and integrating it so that's a relationship. So that's really what happens in learning this. But it's actually part of the natural course of people. You're in positions, your relationship, just a relationship with another person is something you have to learn and build. That's relationships outside the body. Where this becomes self-cultivation, you're developing relations within the body. And these relationships is a term that I use, but those relationships are not just right and left sides. It's both internal and external, mind and body. These are all relationships that kind of share and feed back all the information that we need to survive, to be practical in whatever we're doing, to learn, to process things. It's that relationship and understanding the ideas. So movement is functionality. You move to do things. What the reason do we want to move? One of the things we need to realize is if we don't move, we actually don't have circulation. So if we think of circulation being something that's important, isn't refining your circulation important? And how do you refine your circulation? You refine your circulation by refining your movement. So most of us just let it circulate because it's going to happen whether you like it or not. It's going to circulate until you reach end of life. Then there's no more circulation, and then things stop. But during this phase, you have to learn to adapt your movements. Your joints have to move. Your musculature has to move. You have to bring oxygen into your system. You have to bring nutrients to your system. All of these are functionality that has to happen because you allow it to happen, or you make it happen by moving your body in certain ways. So functionality is important in a natural sense. We move our body's skeletal structure a certain way based on how the joints should move. We use our musculature a certain way without being excessive. So what's excessiveness? Tension, stiffness, stress. Those are all things that create havoc in the body because of tension. What does tension do? It's like a rubber hose. If it's stiff, nothing will flow through it. If you squeeze it and it's tight, nothing flows through it. What has to flow through the hose? Fluid, water. What flows through our arteries and tendons and ligaments, not tendons and veins, is fluid. What flows through our body completely is fluid. It's just one of the things. So that's the first two sections of the form, actually, and we're going to go through the form together completely because I just wanted to highlight a piece of the form. Maybe next time I'll work the piece after that, and then the next time I'll work the piece after that. So it comes to about 7 sections in the form to complete the Tai Chi Paradigm form. So if you want the next few sections, stay tuned because the tutorials on that specific group, and you can revisit it at any time. All right, so let's go through the form because Nan's waiting. Okay, deep breathing. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. So that's the complete form. It's 37 movements, so 37 postures linked together. Only 16 of those postures are different. It's just how a form is. When you learn the long form, it's 108 essential postures, but really it's only 37 total. So the long form has 37 different postures. Some of them are done on the right and left sides. Some of them are just done on one side. So that's a process of learning the long form a couple of times a week in a live studio would probably take you close to a year to learn. If you learn in Tai Chi Paradigm with some guidance, it could be anywhere from 24 hours of classes to learn it, but not really memorize it completely till 6 months, depending on how much practice you put in. But those are the time frames that you can do it. Tai Chi is done slowly. Actually, any physical training that involves refined movement is done slowly in some forms of the practice. But practicing Tai Chi is done slowly, and it's better because it gives your body and mind a chance to catch up with what it's trying to do on a conscious level. But at the same time, when you do things slowly, it takes a lot more mental energy and awakening of your motor neurons because you're building sequential events that has to be understood in the body. So because we're doing it slowly, the tendency to make a lot of mistakes is less. Because anything that you learn, if you know that when you rush, the tendency is to make mistakes. And rushing is something people like to do because they want to get it done. But getting Tai Chi done like that, you can't progress the same way because you're not absorbing the information that your body is going through, and you can't digest it the same way. Even eating, you shouldn't eat too fast for one reason, because you're not digesting your food properly because you're not chewing it. The swallowing and rushing doesn't even allow your brain to catch up to know that you're full. So people that rush, and they can eat a lot and actually not feel full until afterwards. So that's why even eating, you have to work with a certain amount of framework. Driving, new drivers, what's the tendency for a new driver? They want to go a little faster than they're capable of as a skill, so their tendency is that they're going to have more mistakes. What are mistakes? They're accidents. You cause things to happen because you rush and you're not really ready. So when you're learning something, understand how to learn it. So when I teach these classes, especially live stream classes, I talk a lot. I talk a lot because what you're watching, you don't really understand. So I try to get the message across verbally so you can begin to understand when you practice what should you get out of this and what should you do. And it's the only way I can actually get this across. And I do that. I talk a lot because normally no one ever listens to me, so it's just part of the course. But if you're interested in this, understanding and listening to it is actually pretty important. A lot of the stuff that I talk about is common sense, but the thing is, when I was growing up, going to school, you don't learn a lot of common sense. Common sense is developed from experience and discovery. So when someone has a lot of common sense, they're probably thought of as pretty smart. So the thing is, that's what we have to do is, put everything down to really basic levels of learning and go through the process. So anyway, that's the food for thought today, and then we're going to go through the long form. All right, ready? So we start off preparation. And it's actually exactly the same as the Tai Chi Paradigm. because the roots of the Tai Chi paradigm are from the Wu Style Tai Chi style. So there's several styles of Wu style. There's the one that's actually promoted in Hong Kong, and then there's also the mainland Shanghainese or Shanghai Wu style Tai Chi. All derived from the same Grandmaster Wu Chen Chuan, but there's always stylistic differences even within the same brand of Tai Chi. But essentially the names of the postures are fairly consistent. Now here's carry tiger to the mountain. That's part of our fundamental drills. And then we go to the obliques. These are the repulse the monkey movements. Repulse the monkey is actually called retreat and repulse the monkey, which is moving backwards. In our form, the hand movements, that's very similar to brush knee. And we open. This is not a kick, it's actually a leg work where you go into the stance. This is hold the ball. So there's lots of versions of some of the similar movements. That's really the approach to the position. Sequences are just variations of going from one posture to the other. So between the numerous forms that you could learn, it's really just how you adapt from one posture to another. There's some very common transitions, like the one we just did, fan to the back, insert needle. These kind of go hand in hand. Now we go backwards instead of forward, divert, block, and punch. Now we go forward to grasp the sparrow's tail. So that lead-in was a little different for this grasp the sparrow's tail. This is standard procedure to single whip. Then we hold the ball and cloud hands. Turn. We're going to do a few kicks now. So some of these movements are a little bit more complicated as far as transitions and maneuvering. But everything is really little bits and pieces that we've learned. And here's a brush knee, again, twice. So that brush knee came off a kick. This is called planting punch. It's a combination of a brush and a back fist. Cross stance. Open the stance. Like Jade Lady, but actually this series is called Beat the Tiger. What's similar is the arm framework, the skeletal structure. Lower hoop, cross the hands, level the elbows, heel kick, 2 punches to the ear. Pull the hands back, flip the hands, fold, parting leg, turn. And we're going to do the second set of obliques, which are same as the first actually, but just a repeat. But this time we turn back to the front, not to the corner for the single whip. Because here we reverse and hold the ball and reverse the ball. The diagonal flying on the right side. Then we do part the horse's mane, and we do a series of 5 of these. One left, and then we got 2 more, so it is 4 times as many on the right side. Cross corner. Jade Lady works shadow. And we have part the horse mane, and we cross over here, and we do the same thing. Then we spin again, double step, switch the hands. Then we do grasp the sparrow's tail. Single whip. And we're back to the front. Second set of cloud hands. So the cloud hands are done in 3 sets in this form. Same cloud hands. And then we go to downward posture. Snake sticks out tongue. Pull down. This is all part of downward posture. And then we cross the arms and do the golden cockroach stance on one leg. We thrust out and kick, and then pull the knee back. Reverse the stance for the second set of repulse the monkey. And we hold the ball again. Now we go to diagonal flying, and we step up and raise the hand. So we've done this quite a few times as well, because we're going to do a second set of insert needle, which starts with brush knee and insert needle again. So insert needle, fan through the back, parry and punch. Those three postures seem to go together quite a bit. And then you punch. That was a step up and punch, divert, block, and punch. Just like in the Tai Chi Paradigm, but this time we go up to grasp the sparrow's tail again. Back to single whip, and now we're going to do a third set of cloud hands. Palm strikes face, 180-degree turn. So here we've got a couple of more kicks coming up. This is single lotus kick and then brush knee. Now we're going to go forward. The step I did was just to reset and to get in front of the camera. Punch down, step up again. So those are all forward steps. Grasp the sparrow's tail. And we're going to go to single whip. Cloud hands are all done, but we have a second downward posture. And that's here. Snake sticks out tongue, pull down, step up, cross the hands. This is pull back. That cross hands is, this is ride the tiger. The cross hands before 7-star. Change your hands. Double lotus. Draw bow to shoot tiger. Palm strikes face. Turn. Parry and punch. High pat the horse and palm strikes face. Those go hand in hand. Neutral to neutral, grasp the sparrow's tail. So you see how we went to neutral 2 times to get back to grasp the sparrow's tail. And then we're at the final single whip. We're going to hold the ball, reverse the ball, diagonal flying, and we close the form. So this, doing the forms completely from beginning to end, for new people, it's not expected to follow because it's almost impossible to do that. But it's for the people that are watching that actually practice with us, because a lot of people are doing it at home, or just to do it, in a setting that someone else is doing with you. So some of it is for new people that for recall that have learned the form and also to actually attend the class. So with that said, the long form Tai Chi is actually an active meditation. So meditation could be standing meditation in stillness, not a lot of moving around, meaning footwork. In the long forms or any of the forms that we do, there's a lot of footwork. There's a mapping of the form that takes you into direction. So the active side of that meditation ties into those movements. So it takes a lot of coordination and spatial dimensional awareness. So typically we're facing that way to do the form in a normal class. We're facing this way. So even though Nan is used to doing it that way, when we did this, when we were at Jade Ladywork Shutter, she was ready to do grass the sparrow's tail over there. She didn't know I picked that up, but I noticed that she was going to do that because of the normal corner that we would do grass the sparrow's tail. So those are things that teachers pick up as nuances that, So teaching this Tai Chi in itself is a skill, and it takes a bit of understanding and a bit of experience to teach. So, that's one of the things that we're proud of, because we have a lot of long-term students that help out in the classes. Nan helps out a lot in the classes. A teacher by profession, but the thing is, teaching Tai Chi is a little bit different, right, Nan? It's quite different because, and this is what a lot of people don't understand, that people have very intelligent brains from when it comes to whatever they're doing as an expertise, but the body intelligence is what really is lacking. So you could have the greatest mind, but be very uncoordinated. And that's simply because everyone's different, and it depends on what you focus on. So to get your body involved with movement really requires some focus and concentration and a dose of information for your body to work with. So I call it body intelligence. Body intelligence is something we build over time. And this body intelligence is what helps us get over some of the difficulties as we age. I call it, what do I call it, Nan? When it comes to movements, prevention of age-related degeneration. It's because, right, as we age, one thing happens. We stop moving. That's one thing. Not just that we don't move our arms or legs because we walk and we do things. It's organized movement and systematized movement and refining movement that requires integration of body, that requires coordination. So coordination is something that we have to do that deals with space. So space is something that we have a system in our body called proprioception that lets you know where you are in space, awareness of even how far you reach, how far you go to the side, where your body is in space is something that we're not always in tune with. So what happens when you lose your balance, when you don't have the ability to move in a coordinated fashion, or you're walking and bumping into things because you forgot about where your arm was or didn't think about it. That's a consciousness. But, it's all a trained process. So you learn where your body is, the limb judging, distance, perception. These things, we start to lose some of it because we're not actively pursuing that. When a child first learns to catch a ball, you can see its timing, its perception, and when do you close your hands or when do you open your hands. It's a sensitivity thing, it's a spatial thing, it's perception, and you can catch a ball when it's coming at you slowly. Then when it gets faster, your response time starts to degenerate, or because you can't time that correctly. So when we're doing movements, we're actually developing perspective of space. How far our hand is, how far I reach. You even develop sensitivity to feeling of what is in your hand. So, if you go to the market, you can pick up something. You can tell, if you do it often enough, how heavy that package is. And if you're doing it, saying picking up 1-pounders every single day, and it's 16 ounces, you can tell, and you can reweigh it to see if you're getting that. So, anyways, it's part of our training with developing heightened awareness and heightened consciousness and sensitivity. So on that note, I think we're pretty much done for today. Nan has to leave. She's got an 11 o'clock appointment. I'm keeping track of her. It is 11 o'clock, Nan, so I'll see you next time. Maybe next week when you're here. Maybe next Wednesday. Yesterday you were a little tied up. But so on that note, subscribe, review the content, and Nan's leaving. You can just walk by. Yeah. So I'll see you next time. There's the Patreon that we started that was something new. If you're interested in that, you can actually visit that. That's on our website. It's calvinshin.com. There's a button there. You can see what it is. Some of it is just, I'm doing a lot of this videoing and streaming free of charge on YouTube for people that are interested and also to support you. But on the other side of it, we're looking for people that want to take more lessons on a personal level. We're going to have some Zoom classes involved with that. And also, if you want to support not me directly, but the space that I do this videoing in, because that's actually my school, but we're using this classroom that's usually for live classes, specifically for Zooming. And students haven't come back after the shutdown and pandemic as we hope, and there is still some uncertainty. So, if you're able, if you want, you can give us a little bit of support through the Tai Chi, through the Patreon site, that then there's a button. So that's really up to you. It's I'm not making that a mandatory thing for you to watch the videos. These are all up there. You're welcome to learn and get as much as you can out of this. So I'll see you next time.